Good morning, Ron. It says we're live.
Hey, good morning.
And picking up from as I was filling you in about last night, did a little just to get back into streaming. A short, just more of a little, hey, I'm still alive. Kind of like now, just had this drawing out, talking. Maybe I should just use this pen as a pointer, huh?
And get you a laser.
Yes, a laser pointer. Actually, the pen kind of works. Or the pen brush marker. So we will see who the first person in the room will be. AG came in last night. Little John was in. Man, his house really got it, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's. And I was telling Little John that that Shazam drawing that I was going to gift him, I had to mail out a Dr. Doom piece to a guy, a small 4x6 or yeah, I think it was a 4x6. And I went to grab that piece and I thought it was on my scanner, copier, printer. I couldn't find it. But that was the same day that he posted pictures of the damage. And so maybe it was kind of a good thing because it would be going there. And it's like he said right now, he's got no wall space. So he's got to sit. Well, there's Dr. Kaz. Yeah. Good morning, Dr. Kaz. Glad to see you, sir. Ron, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
You see Dr. Kaz is in the room.
I said good morning.
Did you?
Yeah, but I think we both said it at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the winner, Dr. Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
First one in the chat.
What'd he win?
It's a good question. We'll think of something. We'll think of something. So
brush marker or
a brush marker?
Is that what you're going to ink this with?
Parts of it. I might use a liner for and some fine lines. I'm thinking right now, which I do quite often, as you well know. All right, so I may as well start, right?
Agreed.
All right, so if any other people pop in to say hello, just let me know. I'm still kind of, maybe I should have penciled this a little bit tighter, but I kind of like to have room to play. And if I mess it up, then we start over. Or I start over. So that's the way it goes. Oh. I did let the people know that they asked about my eyesight, and I said, well, distance and mid-range seems to be fine, but close-up work, readers, I thought these were the lowest, but they're not the 1.00, they're the 1.25. Let's see if you can get some magnification here. I know some people that use these just, they haven't had an eye operation or something, but they're at that point where they need something. And I never even thought about using these because I always wore prescription glasses. Mm-hmm. And I was always kind of worried about these because I know they're basically just magnifiers. And I was always afraid they would jack my eyes up. Or that I may become too reliant upon them, which I really don't want to. So they don't seem to, when I'm drawing, for some reason. It just when I'm inking, I think it's more of the precision thing. If I was going to ink this drawing a little bit looser, I maybe would not use them. But since this is supposed to be kind of a bookend for another Joker drawing, I figured. Oh, that's you.
That's me digging out a black prism.
Okay. Did you order some of those too with your other supplies?
No, I've had some.
Did you get some of the soft core pencils?
No.
So you just really ordered paint and medium and stuff like that.
Well, I already had the medium. I just ordered the paint, and then I needed to frame that Franzetta.
Frazetta.
Yeah. So I had to get some bars for that, and then the bars I had for it previously were a little too small, so I ordered just a yard or two of linen. So then I had stretched a few canvases of my own.
And the linen is it's a finer weave than the regular canvas, right?
I don't know if it's necessarily finer.
I thought it was. I thought canvas was more of a coarse material, and linen was kind of, a more tight weave.
All right, it's a tight weave, but then once I
it sounds like we're talking about hair pieces or something. Hey, Ron, go ahead.
Once I put the gesso on it, I mean, it really cut that back a lot anyway.
Right. How many coats of gesso are you putting on?
I put on a couple, and then I put on a thick gesso for texture at the end.
And you sand in between coats?
Nope. I wanted a bunch of texture in it.
You wanted the Drew Struzan.
The only part I'm going to sand is the part where I'm planning to put the face. I'll sand that down just to smooth that part out.
And what grit of sandpaper are you using?
I think I got some 220.
And that's the lowest or highest lowest. I don't know what they call it, but that's like the finest you can get, right?
No, you can get much finer for like automobile painting and stuff.
You know what? That's right. I had some sandpaper one time before. Somebody told me to get it, and I couldn't feel any. It was like smooth. I mean, I ran my hand across it. I could not feel any texture. And I was like, how's this supposed to work? Mm-hmm. But it I guess it depends on the surface. My hand didn't pick up the real fine grit of it, and I can't remember what I was using it for. Maybe it was one of those times that I too was going to try painting. But I chickened out. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put me like this.
Yeah.
And if somebody chimes in, they maybe they'll think it's me. I don't know. But we'll see. I hope Kaz is maybe still around. Maybe he's in his office doing some early morning stuff. Listening like the good old days. Although it's not 7. Those were the great days, right, Ron?
Yeah. I mean, gave me something to do to drive into work for 90 minutes.
Telling you, it was good times. I remember just thinking it was crazy to even stream at that time, but it kind of gave me something to work on to just get warmed up. And the fun thing was that it kind of turned into, it turned into something. I was glad that everybody, it was like, it was fun for me. It seemed fun for the audience, and it just kind of had its own little following and group. I had a lot of fun. I'm not sure we can ever get back to that.
Well, Joe47771 is in the room, and it says so many different faces to the Joker.
That's very true. If I ever had to do the Joker on a consistent basis, I think I would get my references out and try to find one that I would call my own. But I just like experimenting with him. In fact, when I was sketching this one out, I had remembered I did like the hillbilly Joker. Do you remember him, Ron?
I do.
That was fun. I had him real kind of I don't know. Just backwoodsy looking, I guess, if I could describe it that way. On my Instagram, I also have an older Joker that and I don't know. I have no idea where I came up with this idea, but I had him in like a plaid shirt, thinking that, I don't know. I can't remember. Was the Joker in a plaid shirt in The Killing Joke?
I don't think so. James is in the room, says, good morning, John and Ron.
Hey, James. How are you this morning? Glad you could stop in. So that other Joker I did, I kind of had indicated a collar and stuff. And when I got right to it, I was just like, I'm going to give him like a casual shirt. Kind of, Bolin did do that. Like the shorts and stuff in The Killing Joke.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, and I love the best thing I like about it is the title I gave him. I gave him like this real like odd colored plaid shirt, I think, and it was buttoned down or something. He maybe even had a vest, like and for, I don't know why, but I named it like Joker and then Town and Country. It just, I don't know. I thought about that and I thought, you know what? It would be really fun to come up with variations of the Joker in different, like different outfits and giving these silly names.
Mm-hmm.
Like Town and Country. I just love that. Joker, Town and Country. I don't know why. It just kind of seemed to fit the look and feel of that one to me. But if anybody has questions, feel free to ask. It's been a while since I've, last night I did a quick, just trying out this new Melon software by Streamlabs OBS. So I was trying to get my feet wet with it a little bit. And see how it works out versus StreamYard, which I never really warmed up to 100%, did I, Ron?
No.
I don't know what it was.
It was the Mallard.
It could have been the really ugly logo. I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes that can affect your decision. And it did kind of taint mine towards their product. And I really feel in the long now, doing a little research, I see that this Melon app has been available for quite some time. I just literally heard about it this past week. So I don't know how it slipped under my radar all this time.
Who did you see using it?
I actually saw it on a Streamlabs video. I'm subscribed to Streamlabs because I wanted to get into using them and I never have yet, because I like all their little widgets and stuff. And I may head that way towards Streamlabs when I go to Twitch. So they had a thing about the Melon app. And I was like, let me look into this. And I'm like, well, gee, this is like, I know that Streamlabs is kind of it's a different approach to streaming, but it's a good one. Some people use just regular OBS, but then they have Streamlabs OBS. So there's a little bit of a difference there. But yeah, I just, I noted it that way and decided to look into it. And it's $15 a month versus $25, and I've been given StreamYard $25 a month for, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. Whenever the last Black Friday 2020 stream, and I just kind of, every time I thought I would not stream, I just decided, no, I'll stream sometime this month, so I'll need it. So I could have actually paid for a year of Melon, because if you go for a year, it's $150, and I know they're just going to keep adding. I'm pretty sure Streamlabs is going to do that. Just keep adding into this. I mean, they've got it a lot as it is, like streaming in 1080p for their Pro plan, which is $15, and you only get 720p with Streamlabs, which doesn't make a big difference to a lot of people, but I kind of like the idea of being able to use the higher resolution. I mean, who wouldn't? But yeah. Streamlabs is going to charge you for it. I think you have to go to their $50 a month plan to get 1080p. Bit much. So we'll see. I mean, this is a test. It could not work out, but I'll find something.
Well, Joe wants to see Walmart Joker.
Well, now that could be right. See, that's perfect. That could be a lot of fun. I hope the Walmart Joker doesn't meet up with Parking Lot John. That could be ugly.
Someone's going to jail.
Right? Walmart Joker. That's a good idea. All right. Just checking this in the feed. It's kind of interesting, Ron. Checking it in the feed helps you too. It's almost like when we scan a drawing and then we see all the mistakes with it.
Right. Joe said they should charge on hours services you use for streaming.
Charge by the hour?
Yeah, instead of setting a flat rate where you purchased it but never used it. He thinks it'd be interesting if they just charged for the services used.
But then if you do a long stream, they could really nail you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like it's not their fault I wasn't streaming. And then if you got, I don't know, what was the longest stream we ever did?
4 hours till it timed out.
No, we did more than that.
In one shot without it breaking up, I don't think we did.
I think we did. Because I think you can go 8 hours before it times out. I think they had changed that. I think. Not sure, but I think. You know, it's a shame. I gotta get more room or rearrange. So I don't have a place to paint right now. I I don't have a watercolor setup. Being back home, not having my office of almost 400 square feet is very painful. It's hard coming home again, Ron. Although I've been here almost a year now.
Yeah, I'm taking up a lot of space.
I'm telling you, and you know, it's hard to get those little extra work areas, right? You know, you set something up and it's like then you got no room for anything else. So you're kind of caught in that until you break it down and set up another space. You just can't go like, okay, over here I'm going to do ink work. Over here I'm going to do paint work. That's what I'm having problem with is the constant, okay, I mean, even the sketch covers I've been doing that I color in marker. It's like that's a whole production, getting all the markers out and finding the colors I need, and then what can I say? It's a bit of a pain, Ron. A bit of a pain, I tell you.
Joe wants to know: is this a commission?
Yes, it is, Joe. This is one that I've owed somebody for a while. I'm actually I'm not taking commissions right now. I need to, and it's not a big list, but I still have some people that I owe from last year, and it's one of the things is some of them are watercolors, and so I've got to find a solution on being able to get those done and not have to, okay, draw, ink, and then color, and not be able to kind of work back and forth on stuff. So it's one of those deals. Is I do miss that I can move around. Not so much a diva in a way, but just when I was doing only inking, I had my whole setup was based around inking. So that was nice. Had everything I needed for inking set up, and wasn't doing some of this more fun stuff that I got into lately, but like watercolor. I want to start doing acrylics, which is what Ron is working on a little bit right now. But I gotta do the stuff that I owe people first, and the stuff that the auxiliary stuff that is bringing in new money to me, which I need right now due to some high-end housing projects that sprung up on me this year, such as a new roof and an air conditioning unit. A double whammy.
Well, Joe said Diva John, and I say not till he starts bringing his own fan.
Oh, yes, definitely. Now that's the height of being a diva.
Kaz is going to the office. He'll be back soon.
Okay, Dr. Kaz. They are having that AtlantaCon again this year, Ron.
Well, that's cool.
Yep. Not that I've been invited, but I just know they're having it. So. And they're having the Tampa show. I guess those guys just don't like me.
It's the 2 bottle of water thing.
You think?
It just pushed him over the edge.
Well, a man's got to stay hydrated. Now that's a little diva-ish. Right?
Nah.
I mean, that's just an essential, I guess. I would say. Gotta have some fluids.
Well, Joe's looking forward to your new work, and James has to head out himself. He will watch the replay to see how it comes out. Have a great day.
Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for dropping in and saying hello. And we'll catch you. Good.
Joe said he can do Tampa if you can.
What does he mean? What do you mean, Joe, that you can do Tampa if I can? Mm-hmm.
He lives in South Florida and would love to see you at a con.
Oh, okay. Well, Florida conventions don't look like they're happening for me this year, but I do have some lined up. But there was actually one in Fort Myers that contacted me. It's called The Hero Con, but I had just booked a one-day show in Calhoun, Georgia. So I had to let them know that they were literally like maybe a week late on getting an invite to me. I don't know who they're going to have there. I don't think their website has any guests listed yet. But I don't think I'm doing any Florida shows, which is fine in a sense. I mean, people have seen me in Florida forever. That's the only reason I could think that. Well, there's two reasons. That could be one reason why a lot of Florida shows ignore me. I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe they figure I'm oversaturated. And I might be oversaturated. but my blood work says else says otherwise, right, Ron?
Right.
That I'm not oversaturated.
Artist Games in here says, good morning, all. He said Pensacon is this weekend, and the Suncoast Con is next weekend in Florida.
Yep, and didn't hear anything from. I don't think they know I'm in Florida or care. So I don't know. I'm not. Hey, artist. I have no contact with any. Never. Maybe it was the person that used to try to book me everywhere. Stop me now, Ron. Change the subject.
Well, Joker goes to the dentist right there.
What's that?
That's Joker goes to the dentist right there.
That's right.
Joker's got a dentist plan.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I don't put a lot of thought into it, so to speak, when I don't get an invite to a Florida show. I don't mind spending time out of the state of Florida. I love Florida, but other places are sometimes more beneficial to me. Let's see. I'm going to need some. Yeah. Joe says, just stick my butt in the door. How do I do that, Joe? Yeah, how exactly should I handle that?
Walk in backwards.
Well, that might work.
Just buy a regular ticket and bring your own table and set up.
I like that. Yeah, where can I put my table? What if that would fly?
It'd be interesting.
It would be. But good Lord, man, that could get me in some serious trouble. Parking lot John would have to show up for that. Any other advice from people?
Danny D says, I want to put together a con one day. John and Ron are right at the top of the invite list for sure.
All right. Thank you, Danny. What Danny switched from? Wait a minute. I think Danny is Artist Ave also. Not that I'm trying to get Danny confused with anyone, but that's fine. He's been a fine supporter of mine on Twitter, retweeting and liking, and
if you build it, they will come.
Says
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. That's true. Field of Dreams, and I see Dr. Kaz is back.
Or was that James Earl Jones who said that?
No, Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner.
Well, I mean, but they were both in it. Which character was it that actually said that?
I'm pretty sure it's Costner. I think it's been attributed to him. Well, whoever wrote the line for him. I thought I did build it like 40 years ago, Ron. Didn't I?
Did you what?
All that work I did in the comics industry?
Oh, I'm talking about Danny setting up his own con.
Oh. Well, that could be.
Jeff Schultz, good morning, John. Sevens, one love from Chicago.
Hey, Jeff, good morning to you, sir. Thanks for dropping in. There. Got him a little carnation going. Only going to be on that side. The rest is, it's going to be black. It's got to be a whole black background to match the Batman piece.
I like it.
For this particular gentleman, I also have a penguin to do. I think a Scarecrow and another Batman. So I think on the penguin, I think I'm going to do a profile. It's one of those things that, it reads really well because you can really play with the look. Really get that schnoz going.
Well, Danny says I can see it now. Artist celebrity poker, much after hours. No worries. Parking will be on hand. Chris is here. Says good morning. Back after a long hiatus. Teaching virtually has been a nightmare for me. I never probably thanked you for the Joker sketch you made me live January 30th, 2019. Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Chris. That has been a while, but I guess we're all still here. So that's something. I just get blown away when I look back and, except for last night, just kind of, since Ron said let's do a stream early, and I was like, okay, and that kind of fell through. uh, yeah. I lost my train of thought trying to make a joke there.
It's because the joke wasn't funny, sir.
Yeah. You think I didn't realize that? That's why I was like, where am I going with this? No, I think, when I look back and I'm like, wow, Black Friday 2020, last real stream for Zablo. Where's Zablo?
He's probably retired right now.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
on some beach in a hammock.
Yeah, I don't think so. Zablo's not the beach and hammock type of guy. But, I'm not either, so I can't really.
He could be. He could have took it up as part of retirement.
That's true. I would like to see that, though. I'd like to see proof if he is indeed a beach and hammock kind of guy. Just living here on the beach, I was never a beach guy. Now, when we really could drive the beach, I was that kind of guy because you could drive up and down and stay in your air-conditioned car, trying to be cool, playing your music and looking at girls and that type of stuff, but I have no idea. What makes it all go away, Ron? Time. Time makes it all go away. Time is the beast of burden. One of my favorite songs, title, Beast of Burden. Name that group, Ron.
The Stones.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes. Had it on 8-track.
Well, Joe says streams are acceptable any time of day. Danny wants to know, are we talking about the parking lot diagram again? Good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been nicknamed Parking Lot John now.
And Danny and Chris are discussing the nightmare that is virtual teaching.
Oh.
Chris wants to know, what are your top 3 favorite superhero movies or comic-related movies?
Well, that's interesting because I just finished The Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I really like that quite a bit. I thought all 6 parts were well done. And as a whole, I liked it. I like the original Captain America, the first Chris Evans ones, the first Avenger. I haven't seen a lot more. I saw Endgame and Infinity War, and honestly, something about those still left me like empty. Like I felt like they just ended. Like there was no real moment where that trying to think of the right word. Ron, you might be better with that. Handle that for me, would you? You know what I'm saying. Did you feel those movies ended like, I want to say with a bang, but with that moment where it's like, oh wow, that was like worth all the hype and waiting.
I enjoyed them a lot, so I can't say I'm empathizing with whatever you felt watching them.
I don't know. I just felt a little like,
Unfulfilled.
yeah, there's the, you know, I mean, not that they weren't good, but there was something that just seemed to miss with me overall. I mean, as a whole, I can say, okay, they were good, but weren't they 2.5, 2 hours and 40 something minutes each?
They were pretty long. Yeah.
And I think for me, the payoff was not worth that much time. I would say, especially the first one where they left it, the was it Infinity War, and then Endgame was the last one, or do I have them mixed up?
No, you got it right.
Okay, so I don't know. When it ended, I was just like, oh, so it didn't seem like a complete story, which it should have. I knew I had to go back to the theater to like pick it up, like it was like one of these TV shows, you know, like they were doing a series of a drop on me, and in that way, I felt kind of cheated because I don't think I could watch Infinity War or Endgame and get the total story. Now, to be fair, I didn't follow all the movies that led up to the storyline, so that maybe had something to do with the impact or lack of impact that they had on me. But I did work on Thanos Quest, which is the story of Thanos getting the soul gems, as we called them in the comic book, not the Infinity Stone. Was it Infinity Stones they called them in the
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know why they changed them from soul gems.
Well, Chris says he feels there have been a lot of anticlimactic endings.
Okay, I agree with that.
And then Danny says, my kid was bugging out. She saw Rise of Silver Surfer and was stuck on how Captain America is Human Torch.
Rise of Silver Surfer, what's that?
So the original Fantastic Four with
Oh, okay.
Evans.
They had that. When was that?
So the Fantastic Four, the second one was the Silver Surfer one, I believe.
I didn't know they did. Marvel Studios did Fantastic Four movies?
No.
I didn't think so.
It was Fox before.
Yeah, I know.
Like early 2000s.
Just like this Spider-Man and stuff. They got caught up in the Fox loop until they got them back.
That was Spider-Man was Sony.
Sony, okay. I know it was somebody. But now it's my understanding that Marvel has all their characters back, correct?
Nope. Sony still has all the Spider-Man stuff. They just agreed to a swap, borrow a character here, and they get to borrow a character. Or they actually get to use Tom Holland.
Man, why can't they get Spider-Man? We need that Secret Wars movie.
Chris says, don't do it. Don't watch any of them. Referring to the Fantastic Four movies.
Oh, any of the Fantastic Four movies?
I think that's what he was referring to.
Okay. You know, I see Chris's comment here about being a good artist for children's comics. He's a court-appointed volunteer child advocate. That's interesting because trying to get Jacob stuff to read, and I didn't know they allowed these in school. Not that they're bad. It's kind of a comic book graphic novel thing. It's Dog Man, and it's for ages 7 to 9. And he's in second grade. He's reading at a third grade level, and that's what these books are really aimed at. And so I ordered him the 6-book set. They have 10, but the next biggest set you can get is 9. So of course they jumped the gun. They put out a 9-book set, and then it's, I'm trying to get him to read, and they have these books that is on his iReady, which is a digital thing, and which I thought he would like, but Jacob says he likes to have a book in his hands when he's reading. So those are going to be delivered today. I just ordered them this morning. But I kind of like the idea that they are kind of comics looking. They're kind of like a hybrid, and they allow them in school.
Yeah.
But back to the point of illustrating a children's book or children's comic. That's something that, Ron, my idea of my...
Yeah.
And I really have that in mind, something similar to that. Now, I know this drawing, it might be okay if we have a villain.
Well, Danny wants to know, why did they change from Soul to Infinity Stones?
I wish I knew the answer. I think Soul Gems is great. I think it was just something to do with Hollywood. Wasn't there something about the Infinity War saga or something?
I'm not exactly sure why.
That's one of those things where it's just a mystery. But I have to admit, today's superhero movies, the ones in the past were so weak, and they deviated so much from the comics. I'm just glad to see stuff stay as close as it does to the actual source material, more so than the actual comics.
Yeah.
Now, I missed out on the whole Winter Soldier. I was telling Ron, I don't understand the whole Bucky becoming Winter Soldier thing, because I wasn't reading comics when that happened. So I don't really know it, but you said that was in the Civil War movie part or whatever.
Yeah, it explained it through the movie.
So I might have to look into that. And I did pick this up. And this is actually, for me at least, kind of cool for a couple of reasons. It goes through the history of Marvel. Who we got a young Stan here with? Steve Limberg. Okay. 71. I have no idea who that is. It goes through phase 1, and it actually lists the movies released May 2nd, 2008. Iron Man 1. I need to watch that. Still haven't done it. Look at the box office on this. 585.4 million. Now, that sounds really good, right? But I haven't looked through this too much. But as we get back to, Captain Marvel, 1.1 billion. That's quite a jump.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Far From Home, box office, 1.1 billion. Avengers Endgame, 2.8 billion.
But they just had everybody invested so much into that point.
Oh, I know. But it does, and then it gets into the Disney era, which I haven't watched this Wanda and Vision or WandaVision yet. I'm not sure if I will or won't. Did you watch that, Ron?
I did. Luckily, you could watch it all at once now. Otherwise,
right.
The first episode, I was like, meh. In the second episode, I was about to stop watching it till the very end. and then it kind of snagged my attention.
Right.
So then I tuned in to see what was happening. And
Now,
then 3 forward, it was good.
this might answer the question too, because they did call it the Infinity Gauntlet. So maybe they just, since they didn't call it the Soul Gauntlet, the Soul Gems Gauntlet, so maybe it made more sense, and maybe they figured it would be less confusing to the general public instead of having Soul Gems go into the Infinity Gauntlet, just to call them Infinity Stones. There's that quick, recognition. This is the lineup for, of course, a lot of them are to be announced because I think they're still, haven't filmed or something since the COVID, or, I know a lot of it can be done through just the computer editing. Anyway, so it's really interesting to see that first Iron Man movie, the box office, and then, like over 500,000 or almost 500 million, but then get up into the other ones and they're into the billions. But this was the other thing. This is a little drawing by Mike Zeck and I off a cover of Captain America. And out of all the pieces they could have chosen to put in this question on who created Captain America, to pick this piece was pretty cool. So kind of forced me to buy I kind of like having this because it does give me that timeline, because as Ron gets older, his memory gets like really bad.
Right.
Like I can't rely on him to tell me like what order do these movies go in, Ron. He's like, well, hey, look, Thor came out on my birthday, May 6th of 2011, 10 years ago. Wow, 449.3 million. That's the one you said sucked, right, Ron?
No. I like that one. It was the second one I didn't like.
Oh, okay. But I liked Ragnarok. See, I watched that, and I really loved all the hat tips to Jack Kirby, all the really cool designs and stuff. Let me see. Let's catch. Hey, there's Joe. Hey, Joe, long time. Thanks for the compliment.
Chris had a question. Growing up, was there a particular toy you obsessed over as a child? One that you own to this day? Question mark.
A particular toy. I don't think there was, to tell the truth. Not that I can think of right off the top of my head. I like toys, but toys when I was a kid were so different than toys today. No, I can't think of anything.
You can tell him it was the wooden hoop and the stick. It's okay.
What's that? Hoop and a stick.
The wooden hoop and the stick.
Well, I mean, we did have. I tell you what, I showed Jacob like the toys I did have to, when I was a kid that we played with.
Jackson marbles.
No, like the pickup sticks.
Okay.
And Tinker Toys, where you get the sticks and the little round things. It's his reaction is just great because he just looks at that and is like, he's stunned because he has all this electronic stuff and battery operated, or you can charge it or whatever. And I show him, like, even though he's not a big Lego fan, he likes the little ones that you can build occasionally. Not all the time, but every now and again, he might get one and it's cool for a while. And I told him, well, we didn't have that. He's like, what'd you have? And I showed him like a basic old school Lego set. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what can you do with that? And I said, well, use your imagination. Was basically that's the answer, is there were no Lego kits when I was a kid. It was like, here you go. You might get a couple tires in a set if you were lucky, and you could make some sort of like square Flintstone looking car.
Lincoln Logs.
That too. Yeah. Well, Jacob did have Lincoln Logs. He liked those because when he was young with his blocks and stuff, he loved to make buildings. We were always doing either a skyscraper to see how high we could stack them before they fell. We actually got pretty high one time. That didn't sound right, but yeah, my son Jacob and I, who's 8, we got pretty high one time. I got pretty high with the blocks one time before it toppled over. But yeah, so what else? What else was the? I'm trying to think, because when I was showing him this stuff, he's like, "Oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that." I'm like, "Yeah, no, you got an iPad. You got the world at your fingertips." Heck, I remember, when I started doing comics in the '80s, and if you needed reference, it was like, go to the bookstore. Hope they have a book on whatever you need. Which, not a bad thing. I enjoy it. But man, it's so convenient now to, if you need some reference on a gun or a building or a certain type of architecture or anything, you just Google it and bang, you got more reference.
Joe said the apple doesn't fall from the tree.
Well, I don't know what he would do if he didn't have his computer. Which is fine by me, because that's his generation. I'm not one of these parents that don't want to keep him away from it, because even schools, for you teachers, you probably know, they're they're going pretty much everything. They're giving kids iPads or laptops to take home with their textbooks loaded into them. So the more knowledgeable he is about technology, I think the better in the long run. People may not have that same view as me, but that's fine. I'll let your kid be left behind. I mean, I remember when the first cell phones come out, and now we got a computer in our pocket that's barely used for a phone. It does.
I wish that were the case.
What's that?
Said I wish that were the case.
Yeah, I know, Ron. You wish we could go back to the old rotary dials and no answering machines, right?
Make them work for that call.
That's true. Make them pay for it too, right?
Yeah. So Danny says, I got the kids an old Sega Genesis just so they put the phone down. And he totally agrees, but he limits the screen time. Kids need to know programming for sure.
Yeah. Jacob keeps threatening to make a Roblox game. He actually kind of has transitioned back to Minecraft, which I'm surprised. I don't know. He's in there. He's got a group of kids he's chatting with. So, and he's not shy, but he's not dumb either. He doesn't, he's not giving out his address or anything. But so that doesn't really bother me that he does that. Jacob's got it, he's got it together. He knows right from wrong. He knows what information to give out and what information not to, and who to give it to and who not to. Like, he never gives Ron his passwords or anything.
Nope.
Jacob was supposed to be on this stream, but I think he deserted us, Ron. He got on that chat room, and they've been playing. I don't know if they're on Roblox or.
Danny says I still have a beeper.
Wow.
He was referring to me.
Oh.
I don't know. I think that'd be even maybe more annoying, because I know some guys that still have the beeper, and it is awful listening to that thing go off.
Man, I didn't even know you could get service. I guess it's cell service though, right?
Yeah, they got to sign up for a plan. They have an education edition Minecraft that has programming features in it, free with their Florida school login. You heard me?
Yeah, I heard you.
That was from Danny.
Yeah, he's more into, I think, Roblox as far as development. He's actually started a few games. Whether he finishes them or not, I don't know. He'll show me sometimes that he started one. I don't put that much pressure on him. As you know, not that I'm saying anyone does, but I'm just like, I kind of let him follow what he's interested in, because to a degree, my parents did that with me. You hear the stories about the parents that when their kid wants to be an artist, they kind of freak out. Well, I never had that. I just had support, or at least I think I did. I never had a, oh, don't be an artist, you're not going to make money, which maybe I did need that. No, I know what I needed. Okay, that's fine. You want to do comics, just don't be an inker. That's what that's the talk I needed. But at the time, when I got in, inking was actually, it had became, before it was just everybody kind of penciled and inked, and you basically got to ink when you needed extra work, or someone else had penciled a job but they didn't necessarily ink it or something. I don't know, but boy, I tell you, I would steer away from ever pointing someone to just having a career as a, quote, comic book inker at this time. Because we are getting less and less, I won't say needed. I think a lot of like really talented pencilers, if they can't ink their own work, they realize a good inker. But the companies, it really is the thankless job right now, and probably the most I don't know. I don't want to say replaceable, because I don't know what's happening in comics. Maybe it's just me, Ron. Maybe I'm just at the point in my life where I'm too old for. I love technology, don't get me wrong, but there's something about those old comics on newsprint with the old 64 color palette printing that just screams to me, like this is a comic book, not this like shiny, glossy, overproduced. I guess my best theory would say it's like a song that's overproduced, It's like there's too much production in it. It's like it's not raw enough. It's like
So Billy's here. He wants to know what was the name of the pen brush you were using.
Oh, that's Kuretake, Bill. Get these at jetpens.com. And this you'll it just has a thicker, let me see, a fatter tip on this end and a thinner tip on this end. And it's spelled, this is great. Get the reflection off of it.
Kurtake.
There you go.
55.
Is that the model of it?
Yeah.
I just, in my JetPens profile, it has your past orders, so.
Well, back on the toy, Joe says he's more of a Legos guy. And Danny thinks the whole diamond distribution shutting down from COVID shook up the industry to change it for sure.
Well, I think a lot of things have changed it. People's attitudes, and I don't know. It's just a bad time.
AG's here, says, "What's up, guys? Good morning, John. Been a while."
Hey.
You can get those pens on Amazon too, by the way.
Yes, you can. I don't know if they're comparable in price or what. I'm just used to getting them from JetPens.
Joe said, "Don't draw your pens at both ends."
Woo. I'm going to have to remember that, not to draw my pens at both ends. I will definitely try not to. Although I probably will fail at that.
He thinks he bought a 3-pack of those pens for $9.
That sounds about right. I was going to say, I think they're somewhere around $3 a piece.
They're not waterproof.
What's that?
They're not waterproof.
They are.
The one end wasn't.
The what, sir?
The one end was not. Remember that one watercolor I did?
Yeah. Did you not let it dry long enough?
I'll let it dry overnight.
Must not have been long enough. I don't know. I think it was the thicker end, right? Because I've used the thinner end and have successfully put water over it.
Wonder if it was a different pen I used. I don't remember.
No, I think it was, because it was weird. Because I think I did an experiment to see if, I just put some ink down, and I'll tell you what they will do is if you erase them too soon, they will like grab the paper, the eraser will, when they're still a little damp. That's very frustrating. And they will smear too if you don't let them have a good dry. And sometimes an hour is, I think they're safe, and I go to a race and it'll lift some ink up or give me a little smudge. And luckily, I haven't had anything damaged. It's always been like in an area that's going to be black or somewhere that I can like blend it into a shadow or something. All right. I'm wondering how I'm going to handle the hair. I know that I'm just going to do an outline on the outside. Whoop.
Well, Danny says it thinks it's a good time for artists and being independent right now more than ever before. He loves these online streams. It's like standing at the table minus the creepy lurking feeling. Watching it.
You know, it's interesting that he mentions that because at conventions, you know, if I'm inking a sketch or something, people will stand away from the table, you know, and I'll see them. You know, maybe it's a family, maybe it's just a couple of fans or something, and you know, I can tell they want to see what's going on. And if I happen to just look up and catch their eye or something, you know, I kind of motion them over, and they automatically react like, oh, you know, we don't want to interrupt you. And I'm like, no, it's fine. You know, come on up. And they eventually will come up to the table, and you know, they'll watch for another 5, maybe 10 minutes, and you know, that's all. They just kind of want to look at the process and what's going on, and then they move along. But I've, you know, it's always been something that just, you know, I enjoy it. You know, I like when I'm at a show, if somebody that I know is there and they're working on a sketch, I like to go over and see how they're approaching it. One of my favorite people to watch at a show work is Jay Lee. Incredibly fast. Just brings out the real ink, a small brush, a big brush, a pencil, one of these kneaded erasers, a couple of tissues to smear the pencil that he puts down, and then he erases back out with this to make some effects. Just really mind-boggling. Ron, you've watched him work, right?
Yeah.
Very fast, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Well, AG puts in the chat the Kuretake felt tip Japanese Fude brush pen number 55 black. Just to clarify the name for.
Wow, that's there you go, Billy. AG put it all in.
Nice looking Joker, he said.
Thank you. What's up, Mr. Jacob?
Oh, nothing much. I'm gonna just come on here for a little bit.
You did what, Jacob?
I'm gonna just come here for a little bit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, AG says he struggles with how he's going to do his hair every day too.
Yep. Let me mute myself a minute.
Sounds good.
Jacob's here. I got to answer a question for him. Okay. Jacob was wanting to get on the stream, but I told him it will be ending soon because I have to start getting his lunch going. He didn't know the time. He wasn't paying attention. And it's his McDonald's day, and he doesn't want to miss that.
Yeah, so Joe wants first bald Joker ever. Danny, I will be going to probably the only one I know of so far will be Baltimore.
We'll be in Baltimore. See you there.
Yeah.
Ron will be in Baltimore with me, Danny. As far as I know.
Yep. It will be fun.
It will be. Like that show. Like the Baltimore Comic-Con. The shows that I think I went over these last night. I don't think I did it today. If you go to AVC conventions.com, I'm going to be in Mississippi. Jacob will be there with me at the end of June. Going to do a show in Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas for them. That is the same weekend as the New York Comic Con in October. So it's either the first or second weekend. It's like the 7th and 8th. In August, I'm doing a show for them. I think I have this right. In Alabama. Then I have a one-day appearance in Calhoun, Georgia. That's October 16th. I think Cincinnati Expo is still on. I was supposed to do that last year, so that's probably going to roll over into this year, the appearance there. And that's in September, mid-September. And I think that's it right now. Or at least that's all I can think of. I don't think there's any more that are like concrete. But I do believe since, and Ron can chime in if he feels like it, since the vaccines have rolled out, and since the CDC cannot make up their mind on whether or not you can wear a mask or not, right, Ron?
Right.
I mean, you either can or you can't. I don't know.
I think it just comes down to just using some common sense.
Yeah.
If you're in a crazy confined space with 1 billion people, probably wouldn't hurt you. But
no,
if you're really spaced out, I mean, I'm being a bit more lax.
You are being a bit more lax.
But I'm definitely seeing a lot less numbers in the hospital than I have before.
That's true. So I don't think we're going to see the mega crowds yet. I think maybe next year, but for this year, I think conventions are still kind of going to have to keep a cap on the attendance maybe or something. I would assume. Because now that, like Ron said, the numbers have went down, I think the worst thing that could happen is if they started rising again. And it could become like a situation over in India where it's just, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
So I think err on the caution of, let's let's make sure this is viable first.
Yep. Well, Danny says I wrap around how they expect to enforce vaccine checks with HIPAA laws. And Joe says we all have personal choice. That includes creators.
Right. And I respect to a degree, I respect anybody's decision. If they've been vaccinated and don't want to wear a mask, then, as long as you're in a place where they're not enforcing it, I'm not going to give anyone a dirty look.
Yeah.
Per se. I'm not going to ask to see their vaccination card. It's like, it's none of my business. I'm vaccinated. If I feel like I need to wear a mask in a crowded area, I will. If I feel like, I don't, then I won't. I don't know. It's a bizarre situation. I mean, we went from, it just seemed like, I don't know. You think the CGC, you think the signature series, Ron? What's your opinion on that signature series? You think they made that statement a little too quick?
I have no idea. I honestly didn't pay a lot of attention to it.
I don't know. When I heard it, I was quite surprised. I was like, wow, they were just talking about, even though you're vaccinated, you should still wear the mask. And then, like, it seemed like literally, a couple days later, it's like, hey, you know what? You're vaccinated, unless you're in a couple of, like a hospital. And then, of course, it's also up to wherever you're at. They can enforce a mask rule if they want to.
Yeah.
Like a private business,
Danny says, remember the first thing you learn in biology class is how the common cold spreads, and it's a math algorithm. AG said, pretty sure they canceled that convention here, John. There would have been plenty of social distancing already.
I know the one he's talking about.
And Joe says, remember that Avril Lavigne song, Complicated?
It is complicated. I think it will work its way out one way or another. If the numbers go down, that's showing that something's right. And if they start to trend up, then maybe back to the drawing board. But I hope something's going right.
Yeah. And Charles says, this too shall pass.
Yep, I agree. Heck, I remember I went over to the Philippines when what was that?
First
did they call it the bird flu or whatever? N1H1.
No, that was a swine flu, but they always have bird flus over there in Asia quite often.
Well, this was a bad one. This was I went over in 2007. So whichever one was really rearing its head during that time. And I remember getting off the plane in both Japan and in the Philippines. They had this like suction mat that you walked across, and it removed debris or something, or possible germs from your shoes. Very foreign to me, no pun intended. And I don't know if that's like standard procedure, or if that was put in place due to that particular disease or flu or whatever it was. It was not a good one. I do know that. It was pretty hard.
Well, Danny says you'll say one word for all the research: baculovirus. Joe is liking your hair choice. Charles says there was a bird flu then when you were given that time frame.
Yeah, I know there was some, and I remember when I made this stop in Japan, I mean, it's normal for them to wear masks in general.
Charles Petrie is saying Japanese and Koreans wear masks already at times.
Yeah.
Danny has a friend in Thailand. He said in his province, nothing, only in the city where the case is high.
Right, where it's more crowded. All right, so let's see. I'm going to be calling it quits. I will figure out the blacks in the hair. I just wanted to get the shape down. I will probably go back in with a little white pen after I get the blacks in and add a few little extra wild strands, which I like to do. So yeah, I guess kind of back as far as streaming. I needed to do something with my son Jacob getting out of school on June 4th. That'll free up a little bit of time. Won't have to be getting him to and from school. The school he goes to is a 20-mile round trip from our house, and he's in a gifted class, and that's the only one they had available. So it, takes a little chunk out of each day to get him there, because they don't have transportation for him. So if we want him to go there, it's up to us. And I do like the school. He likes it there. He's comfortable. Loves his teacher. He won't have her next year, and he's really sad about that. But I'll leave. What I'm going to try to do is start a Twitch stream. So I'll have the head cam on my big head, so that we can talk. And so this is kind of, I guess I'll real quick. For those of you, I know AG was in last night. The Twitch stream is going to be more about just the conversational part. I will be doing a little bit of art, hopefully, as we go along. I may not have my sidekick Ron, who's reading comments, so I'll have to pause and look at the chat. But then what I want to do is have a second camera recording the artwork I'm doing, and then I can piece it together in Adobe Premiere and maybe do a time lapse and then a voiceover and put it on YouTube. Not that I'm going to give up live stream on YouTube altogether. I think just the way I've kind of interpreted it and spoken to a few people, Twitch seems to be the more interactive, maybe streaming than the other ones. YouTube seems more like a completed video that you upload and people watch and comment and like on, which leads me to, if you haven't liked this and you do, please go ahead and give me a quick thumbs up. I do appreciate it. It will help this channel. This channel has stalled for many reasons, mostly mine. In fact, probably all mine. But, you know, life does come up and you got to deal with stuff. And it's been a tough year for me so far, as well as I'm sure it's been for some of you all. So anyway, that's kind of my plan, is to maybe do 3 days a week on Twitch. Maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew, maybe 2. And then I want to do a video on maybe inking a project, maybe doing blue line inks and explaining, maybe break it into sections. So it's like almost a lesson type thing. Like I got a David Finch Wolverine that I offered to ink some guy on blue line last year. Never got around to doing it. I will probably film that just as I'm working on it and do a part 1, part 2, maybe 3, do a 3-part, maybe 4, stretch it out into 10, 15 minute little chunks and explain what I'm doing as I go along. We'll see. I don't know. I gotta think a little bit more about the whole deal. But anyway, for now, I'm going to bring Ron back into this. Let's see. How do we get Ron in here?
I'm here.
Let's see. There we go. Okay. So you can see Ron's R. That's his Robin R. He wanted to have just an R for Robin. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate the sentiment there. Joe, the piece is almost done. Blacks and a little bit of tweaking. And like I said, I'll figure out the hair, the swirly highlights and stuff. I didn't really have them penciled in, so I don't want to just go in and try to get something there. I did have the basic, what you see done, kind of sketched in, so take it from there. So Twitch, I'll be tweeting about that when I get it going. That may be another week, or maybe when Jacob's out of school. YouTube until then. And anyway, enough babbling. I will say goodbye now and hope to see you next time, which might be tomorrow. I might finish this up tonight. Like I said, I have 3 more for this guy. Then he's done with, you know, as far as the commissions he's ordered. He has 4 of these 6x8s that he picked up for me last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. And they're all Batman related. Joker, like I said, he's got the Joker, Penguin, Scarecrow, and another Batman. So going to try to get those done. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow with a Penguin or Scarecrow or something else and have this done to show you the final product. So thank you everybody for dropping by. I appreciate you all for hanging in there with me, sharing the video, liking the video, whatever. And we will see you next time. Ron, I guess we're done.
Yep.
All right. Take care, everybody. We will see you next time. See ya.
Later.